Surviving life in the Old West. Picture yourself living back in the Old West days, like how you see them in films, dusty, and a place where there was so much violence. It may sound so basic because crimes are still present in the modern days. You would not get a proper bath in 10 days, and at the end of this video, you will discover that going through surgeries was the toughest decision one must ever make. So stay seated, get your popcorn, and let's take a peek at life in the Old West. You should never expect to have the best hygiene in the Old West. The place was less structured back in the days when people were pushing their way toward the Western. As expected, their hygiene was wild, like we can imagine. Bath soaps in the Old West were not like the ones we have nowadays. Would you have survived life in the Old West if your soap was made of animal fat with a mixture of lye, water, and herbs? With the help of a plant, a mole, they were able to enjoy a lathery soap. Well, they were able to make it, so I think you can too. Speaking of bath time, did you know that they can be very creative in finding a way to wash their hair too? They used whiskey mixed with castor oil as shampoo. Most of the time, when whiskey was out of hand, they use a bar soap made of lye and lard. And to style their hair, they used heated pencils as curlers. Cool, huh? Even though they have the means for soap and shampoo, did you know that they could only take a bath once a week? They strongly believe that taking a bath is not healthy. Open pores can lead to the bacteria inside their body, which can cause them to have a disease. Water was often contaminated back then, another reason why they would rather not take a bath. After the discovery of Pagosa Springs in the Rocky Mountain state of Colorado, people developed their bathing habits. They believed that water can be a cure for many health conditions. They could be right, because spas are widely used nowadays to use as a relaxation. Toothbrushes and toothpaste did not exist in the Old West times. They lacked dental procedures, and most often, when they have falling, rotting teeth, they would use pliers to pull them out. It was too risky, because there was no anesthesia and antibiotics that could stop the spread of bacteria going to the roots. But hey, do they have a choice? Longer locks mean longer travel. Since they don't have the means to get a haircut more often when needed, and the luxury of time, as they need to prioritize jobs to make a living, most men would be found wearing long hair and beards. This is not a fashion statement for them. They want to feel refreshed too. It's just that, in between their travel, they would rarely have the opportunity to do it. Speaking of fashion, did you know that men wear bandanas? Not for fashion, but for protection. The Old West is a dusty and windy place because of the western desert lands. They would wear bandanas so they won't inhale the dust. Wild West is famous for mining gold. That is one reason why many people come there hoping for a change in their life and to find their luck. Mining was a huge thing going on during that era. It was not just gold that was discovered since everyone started digging. Other valuable minerals like silver, copper, brass, coal, iron, and many more. Thus, this was one of the reasons why living in the Old West was difficult for others. Because of the mineral dug up, many prospectors liked the mines to be kept for their own. That was the reason why people tried to kill each other and they were treating each other as rivals. Speaking about the injuries brought by the cowboys and miners fighting, one's survival from gunshots or stab wounds would be very critical. The hospital was not present during the Old West time, and there were a few doctors who finished their degrees. That being said, anyone can just claim they are doctors even if they were not. Surgeries were performed at your own risk with a high intensity of pain because, hey, even anesthesia was not invented back then. Imagine removing bullets in your body and closing up a stab wound by stitching. You could either be dead from the fragments or losing blood, or poor pain management. You have just discovered life in the Old West. Stay tuned for more amazing stories you should know about.